Get ready to feel
the power.
That's Colin Crandall, myself, Adam Roorda, over here, right here. Colin's pointing at himself over there.
I'm somewhere and he's in the other place.
we're pointing in different directions, but yeah, welcome to another awesome episode of MMA Power Hour. We are giving you right about an hour tonight. We have one amazing guest, and we're gonna shoot the shot a little bit on a couple amazing fights coming up here this weekend. And today's episode is brought to you by Lith Token. It is LITH token.io. Hit them up, look at it. And I'm actually the blockchain architect over there. We're working on cool things with physical NFTs, brand new technology, patent pending, and working with sustainability and ethics, trying to take politics out of it.
Absolutely, and I would be more of the blockhead architect because sometimes I am like a blockhead. I can't get out of my own way. I don't know.
You know what? You got this right.
Did I? I actually got that right. Thank you. That's no argument on that one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Normally, I'm having to correct you on.
That's right. I got that right. Thank you. I appreciate that. But we can both be blockheads, I think, on this show. But that's part of the fun of it. And he is a blockchain.
I'm a bigger blockhead on this show, but when it comes to cryptocurrency, believe me.
That's it. He knows it, and in cryptocurrency, I'm more the blockhead. But yeah, this is Lith Token is awesome. Brought to you by Lith Token IO. You get involved, you go to the IO, and you won't end up having to talk about IO this person and that person because the Lith Token will take care of everything.
Well, don't put anything into the token that you can't afford to potentially lose because of the whole cryptocurrency market being a little wackadoodle crazy. We don't know which direction it's going on any day. And right now we've got a lot of sideways action in cryptocurrency. A lot of people think it's going down a lot, but it's kind of sideways when you actually look at the chart. But yeah, no, it's pretty crazy being over there in the crypto world, Colin, and watching everything that's going on with the fighting world and all the fighters getting involved in crypto. Yeah. It's kind of absolutely, my mind's blown 90% of the time, almost every day.
NFTs, man, everyone's getting them with the fighters, and then we had Rashad Evans on last week. He had that toad coin, Metatoads, and we got the Meta Frogs here, and everyone's swimming all over the place. It's like a bunch of wild animals and mammals and insects all together in the same bath.
No, well, that sounds exciting. Other than I do not want to be in that bath.
No, I probably not. Wouldn't be prudent, as George H. Bush the First would say. For those of you who remember, wouldn't be prudent. Not gonna do
it. just like trying to get in on buying land from the Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Yeah,
it didn't seem very prudent to me.
No, it didn't. I'll tell you a funny thing, and this shows that we can even laugh at ourselves. I'm a libertarian, but I'm more of a conservative-leaning libertarian, especially with this woke insanity out there. A funny story I heard years ago. This is a silly one, but I remember someone said, "Did you hear what happened after President Reagan's term? He did 2 terms, and he was out, and his vice president was George H.W. Bush." So while he was president, apparently they went to a get-together. President Bush was there, former President Reagan, and a bunch of people. And someone said that after the event was over, President Reagan went to Bush Sr. and said, "Well, George, I'd like to ask you a favor. It turns out that the 2 tires on my limousine are flat, and we don't have spares. So can you take me home in the presidential limousine?" And apparently George Bush Sr. said, "What was I going to do? Not offer to take him there? That would be bad." I don't know if that really happened or not, but that's one of the sillier, funny political stories I've heard of from many years ago. I don't know if that's true, or I think a stand-up comedian may have said it then. But anyway, there you go. There's your taste of early 90s, late 80s political humor, and you're welcome. Anyway, Dr. Adam Roorda, try to follow that one, will you? I hope you can.
Bad humor. Wah, wah, wah,
That is it. That is it.
We try.
We do it. We succeed once in a while. So, what was it? Can we remember the last this past Saturday's main event? I think we can. No, I can't. I can't. Man, I'll tell. Oh, wait a second. Was it?
This is 2 weeks in a row.
Man, oh man, it's just you move on to the next one. But let me see. Andrei Arlovsky did get a gift decision over Jake Collier, which I like Andre, but he did not win that fight. And most journalists everywhere feel the same way. And then
we had Font versus
Font. There we go. That's it. I called Marlon Vera. I think you had Font.
Yeah, I had Font. I love Font. But
Cheeto's a killer, isn't he, man?
Oh yeah.
Cheeto, and I'll tell you what. One of the things about Cheeto in that fight was he just looked like nothing Font was throwing at him was hurting him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really unusual because Font can hit, and Font was putting together combos and everything. But Cheeto is on a mission, man. He just looks like he's, I know somewhat cliche, but he looks like he's Cheeto Vera 2.0 in that fight, man. Just like literally, and like he said, he had a close decision loss to Jose Aldo about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Now he says put him in there against Aldo and he'll finish him, guaranteed. Cheeto, I think this is Cheeto Vera's time. And that win put him right in.
I think you're right now. You know what? He's
he's in it.
He's in it
without a doubt. So
I'm gonna have to agree with you a little more. He's taken over as one of my faves because of this last week.
Oh yeah, he's a killer. And then we did a really good interview with him about 2 years and a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And had a really good chat and got kind of really into the mind of Cheeto Vera. And obviously, I think any fights we might have talked about then, some may not be current, but we actually did talk about some of the top guys then, and he gave his thoughts and just a lot of thoughts about his mindset and what makes him so good. So that is still on that Fight TV platform, but I put up a link to that on my Facebook. And if you want to see a really good, one of the best, if I do say so myself, in-depth interviews with Marlon Cheeto Vera from April 2020, please check that out. But yeah, he's a great dude, absolute killer, and what can I say? He's gunning for the title. And
talking to previous guests, one of ours lost as well, Chase Sherman. I'm kind of surprised, not really at the same time.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate to see him lose that one.
Yeah, but you know what? In all honesty, Adam, I know the last 6 months has been absolutely berserk for you with the Lith token and the other stuff. So in some kind of fringe fighters that are not top 20, I understand you may have lost track. Chase Sherman went from a year and a half ago being like a top 20 guy. Although
I didn't expect him to win this one. I'm just kind of disappointed.
Yeah, but you know what it was? He was given like 2 weeks notice to fight this guy a week earlier. And then that fight fell off because there was some medical issue with him or something. And then all of a sudden it's back on, and he was a huge underdog. In all honesty, I just think, I don't know, Chase's mind is elsewhere, or just maybe, he kind of hit his peak 2-3 years ago. But this guy Romanov is an absolute killer. Yeah, they really just brought Chase in to be cannon fodder in that fight, unfortunately.
No, I don't disagree one bit.
Yeah, it was I'm not 15 to 1.
I'm not that far detached and removed.
No, I know. But it's unfortunate to just see him just get taken out like that, taken down, armbarred right away.
Somebody that was on a tear there for a second. Really coming over from bare knuckle boxing, coming back and doing some good things for a quick second.
Yeah, but not anymore.
It's just kind of a downward slide since then.
Yeah, it really has been. But the Romanov is a tough guy from Moldova. One of, I think, 3 or 4 UFC fighters from there. I know Ion Kutalaba being one other one. But, Romanov's tough. But I think that was a gimme fight for Romanov. And I want to see this guy Romanov now against someone really good and see what he can do. Because I'm not 100% convinced about how good this guy is. The old saying, there's levels to this, right, Adam? It's like, if me and you were to fight another MMA journalist somewhere, maybe we could win, especially you since you're younger, but that doesn't mean all of a sudden we can beat some like high level professional fighter. And I know that's a bit exaggerated, but still, if you're beating guys that are not even in the top 30 in the UFC, and all of a sudden you face a guy in the top 20, that can be a real cold shower and a surprise with the resistance you get from that you're not getting.
Yeah, I mean,
haven't been getting in the past.
What kind of blows? Okay,
By the way, sorry about that. Our guy's ready. He's right outside with his dog.
Oh, cool.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but I figured we don't want to keep him waiting.
It's all right. And real quick before we go in there, we'll hop back in after this first guest, talking about downward slides from a height.
Yes.
We got one fight coming up that will kind of be a decision in that type of scenario as well, in Brandon Royval, the preliminary card coming up this weekend. So I'm going to be watching that one closely.
And speaking about downhill slides and Brandon, let's go Brandon. Our guy just continues on a downhill slide, leading the country.
Oh yeah,
good work, Joe. We love it. What do they say? The comedian.
Let's go Brandon.
Yeah, he said. Trevor, what's that guy's? Trevor Noah or something. The comedian. He said, "Man, it says the real high since you've been in office. Gas is higher, food is higher, and pretty much cost of everything is higher. Thanks.
Cost is everything is higher except for stocks, and there's zero liquidity. So
right, no one's got any money, and yep. Crime is higher. Yeah, crime, gas, and cost of food are all higher. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, thanks for the depression.
Thanks for the memories. Yep. All right.
At least we try to have fun through it all.
We got to do it, man. Otherwise,
we've got a decent little showing here showing up today.
That's it.
Let's go ahead and get into our Skype dance.
Let's do it. Skype dance, baby. Ready?
It's not going to start doing anything. He needs to get on his Skype.
Oh, I think he said he's just heading back to the. Okay, let's let him go. Okay. Sounds good. We're Skype calling you now, but it didn't look like you're on. We'll try again in a second. All right, there you go. That's one of the things that if we can ever get to the day where we have all kinds of in studio guests, that will be awesome because we won't have to worry about that online communication. But we're not alone. You see, once in a while it goes that way on Joe Rogan's show. Even once in a while, Ariel Helwani, who has most of his guests online. You know what I wonder? I wonder why Ariel. You know what? I guess it all makes sense, because I was going to say with Ariel, I think they would have the budget to fly guys in, but they just don't usually. They almost everyone's on a Skype, I guess, because people want to make sure to save some money, and he's got a cool looking background. But I just feel like a great look would be to have guests in house, and I think that hardly anyone's doing that.
What do you think of this fight coming up here in Bellator between Yoel Romero and this Alex Polisi?
Well, I think that Romero should win that fight, although he's got to be 15 years older than Polisi. Meanwhile, let's try Dan again when you have a second. But
he's not online yet.
He's not online yet.
No,
okay.
I'll tell you.
He said try now. He just said try now.
All right, we can try.
Right.
It's not going to do anything unless he's online.
All right.
Nothing.
All
he's
right.
not online.
Calling now, and it shows that you're not online.
Tell him to call us.
If you could try to call us, that would be great. Our user ID is.
Yeah, our user ID, just so you guys know, we're not going to give it out to each and every one of you. We do not use MMA Power Hour for a reason.
Right. Yep.
Got a nice long list here, though, of guests, man.
Exactly.
Going through all those.
You might have a different Skype than you did the last time we had you on late last year or earlier this year.
We had him on, and it's showing middle of last year.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Let me see here.
What, Colin?
And
you're not doing a very good job here right now.
Yeah, I know, right? You know what? We
maintain the conversation so that way our viewers are not bored to death by us.
Exactly.
We love you guys, by the way. Make sure to hit up our social media at MMA Power Hour. Our website is not up right now. Probably won't be for a while to come, just because we're putting focus on this and making sure that you guys get an excellent show every week. And let's see, people jumping in and saying hello from Jason Moody. He's saying, "Hey Colin, what's up, bro? How you been doing?" Saying
That's
that
cool.
He loves our podcast, and
awesome.
Some cool guys. So
thank you, Jason. Appreciate you guys that are jumping in. Really appreciate it. Hopefully Daniel will be calling us here any second.
Right back at you, Jason. I don't really know you, but I'm going to assume you're cool with that statement.
Absolutely. We appreciate you, Jason. Hopefully we can get this next guy, the guest on here,
But what?
Well, I guess it's interesting because if it shows they're not on Skype and they can't call us, then we just have no interview.
Right.
And it is what it is. I mean, it's not the same as someone not showing up, but it's I guess with this technology, I mean, we've interviewed him several times. So Daniel's always been really good, with being able to come through. But yeah, we just have to be able to
see if this makes
try another one.
I'm gonna close out.
Should I tell him we're trying a different Skype?
No, we're not trying a different Skype.
Okay. Then I won't tell him that. Okay.
There's not a different Skype to try.
Okay. And now
I mean, there's probably about 100 of them, but
okay. All right.
Oh,
so
that was loud. Were
sorry
you trying
about
to blow
that.
Our ears out?
Yeah, I guess I was. I'm sorry about that. It's kind of it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's frustrating, but
Are you gonna keep going, or
yeah?
I'm gonna give you a hard time for this.
Oh no, that's okay. Yeah.
You're not on today with this.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I guess it's just like we've interviewed him several times. He's a great guy. Every time he's been able to show up, but this time he's not able to give us a Skype that works, and he's not able to Skype call us. So that means that we don't have a guest. Anyway, so let's go. Why don't we go check in?
What do you mean we don't have a guest? How is he not able to Skype call us?
He's not saying anything. He's not getting back to me now.
Interesting.
He's saying that he's ready. Try now. I'm ready. Let's do it. Try now. And then I told him that it shows that you're not online.
Yeah, well, hopefully he jumps in here.
I hope so, because it's just I don't know what else could be done. But I guess that's what's really throwing me, is that it doesn't make any sense. And not only that, I'll just give him our ID here again.
Yep, and see what happens.
All right,
and then we've got. Well, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this right now. So
let's do it.
The other fight coming up here, we've got Ryan Bader and Czech Congo. Man, Czech was one of our first handful of guests, first season of this show, and it was exciting having him on. I think that was probably the one.
All right, he's saying he can't log in now.
He's got to reset his password or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, gotcha. I'm not sure if you have to reset your password or what it is, but we appreciate the effort if you could try. And we'll hang in here a little bit.
Yeah, we'll hang out for a second. We've got Czech Congo and Ryan Bader to talk about, a couple other fights. We can keep her rolling. Actually, I'm going to go back to the Yoel Romero and Alex Bellisi fight.
Gotcha.
I mean, Alex is.
So let's look at Yoel. Let's look at Yoel. That's Yoel. That's Yoel. Okay.
Yeah, I know that's Yoel, but let's.
I know. I was going to go down
real quick.
Okay.
He's what?
4-1 in Bellator.
4-1 in Bellator.
He beat Rafael Carvalho. He lost to Julius Anglicus. He beat Gustavo Trujillo. Beat Grant Neal, and then just beat Jose Augusto Azevedo Barros. Most people haven't heard of any of those guys. Yoel Romero did have his first Bellator fight against Phil Davis, and he did lose a split decision. It was really close. That fight could have gone his way. That was in September. Mm-hmm. So he's on a 4-fight losing streak, but it was against 4 good fighters. He lost to Robert Whitaker. He had a close decision loss to Paulo Costa 3 years ago almost. He lost to Israel Adesanya in a fight that was pretty close. What?
There he is.
All right. Hey, Daniel, can you hear me?
He made it.
We got you, brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. As long as you see yourself, you're good. You're not going to be able to see us this way, but you're on, man. We really appreciate you. You look like you're ready to be playing center field there. Or what position would you be playing if you were on the Dodgers?
Oh man, first base, because I'm a power hitter. You know what I mean?
I like it. What number do you think you would pick?
69 player all day.
I like it. Let me announce it. And now at bat, number 69, first baseman, number 69, Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez.
That's me right there.
Were you a pretty good player in your day, baseball?
Baseball wasn't really my thing, man. I was more of a basketball player.
I got you. You know what's funny? I used to play football. I'd play maybe a little bit of basketball. I played some hockey and I played some soccer, but I never wanted to play baseball because kids were always hitting other kids in the head with the ball.
Dude, yeah.
Right?
That's one of the main reasons why I never really got into baseball too much, because I don't like getting hit by the ball, you know?
Right. And I'm not a fighter like you are, but I always trained and I was always into martial arts and football. And people would say, man, you're doing all this tough stuff, but not baseball. And I'm like, yeah, the difference is you get hit in the ball, you get hit in the head or even the balls, where the ball is going to be even worse than any other of those contact sports. So we're the same way. But definitely it's a fun sport to watch, man. But you're looking sharp. Are you getting ready to go to a game or something? Or you just like the gear?
No, man, this is how I dress every day. I'm always fly, you know? I'm actually out here with my dog, about to go on a hike, you know, just... I forgot we were gonna do this call, but you know, I'm always fly, man. I'm out here just fly as hell for a hike.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. We won't keep you too long, man. What kind of a dog do you have?
I got an American Bully.
Cool, man.
Beast, man. Actually, his name's Dodger.
Dodger, I love it, man. That's why you got the gear and you got the real Dodger with you. That's awesome, man. Very cool. So, man, I'm telling you, we're happy to have you on the show. I know I always give a proper introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, we have UFC welterweight contender, the man they call D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. Welcome back to the show, Daniel. We're always so happy and grateful to talk to you, man. So, your last fight was a few months back. Do you have anything lined up? Are there some possibilities? Anything you're allowed to talk about?
Nah, man. I've been getting that question asked a lot lately, and I haven't really been giving people answers. You know, actually, I just got cleared last week to like start doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, about a week or two away from getting fully cleared to like you know, start hitting pads and start really getting some power shots in there, you know. But I've been working this whole time, doing other things, you know, working on other aspects of my game. And as of lately, yeah, man, I've been going at it again. You know, training really hard, and you know, I feel like I'm not too far off the wagon. You know, I feel like, you know, in a month or two, you know, I think I'd be able to get to step back in that cage. You know, hopefully. I mean, I gotta wait for the doctor's approval, you know, to get cleared. But you know, the way I'm feeling right now, I think I'd be ready to go sometime late July.
Very cool. So we could look for you hopefully in a summer fight. Are there any fighters? I know everyone wants to try to grab someone ranked ahead of them. So if there were a few guys ranked ahead of you that you think would be a good fight, are there any guys, any names you could throw out? Not necessarily to call them out, but any people that maybe like you're interested in, or maybe kind of acquaintances of yours that you think could be some good fights or something?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple names. There's people ahead of me. There's people behind me. There's people calling me out. You know, it's really all up to the UFC. It goes up to me. You know, I like to come back to maybe like a, you know, top 15 guy. You know, anywhere from 10 to 15. I think would be a good matchup. You know, and you know, if anybody below me, you know, I'd say somebody like, man, I don't even know, dude. Last I was kind of, the name got thrown at me was Robbie Lawler. I think that'd be a fucking hell of a matchup. I think maybe something like Jeff Neal, maybe you know, Neil Magny or something like that. You know, there's all kinds of names up there, man. I could just throw. I never really thought about it. You know, I've always been the type of person who just fight anybody. You know, I think my UFC career so far says that, you know, me stepping in on so many short notice fights, you know, I'll fight anybody.
Absolutely. And you've done that coming off a good win. Your last fight was actually about like 8 months ago against Kevin Lee. Really good fight there. Before that, Preston Parsons. Before that, Mike Perry. So you got a 3-fight win streak, and you know, you're in a good position, man. There's so many good guys at 170. The last big 170 fight was Belal Muhammad against Vicente Luque. And, you know, I don't know about you, but that fight surprised me a little bit. We had both of them on our show, and they're both really cool dudes, both very respectful dudes. Luque was like a little bit favored because he had knocked out Belal like 5 years earlier. And
Yeah.
it seemed to me like Bilal is a guy that has some wrestling, but not like he wasn't like a D1 wrestler. And it seemed to me like most people thought Luque was going to shut down his takedowns and just light him up. And it couldn't have been further from the truth. Bilal kept taking him down time and time again and again and again. And by doing that, pretty soon Luque, even though he landed a few shots, his output started to become lower and lower and lower because he didn't want to be taken down. Did that fight go the way you thought, or if not, what do you think what made that fight go that way, different from what a lot of us expected?
Man, I expected a lot different out of that fight as well. I expected it to be more of a stand up. I expected Luque would be able to keep it on the feet a little bit more, but like you said, yeah, his volume did slow down, and Muhammad just had success with the takedowns and continued to continue that strategy, and it worked out for him.
Yeah, it's strange because Muhammad he's getting better. Obviously, he's getting better and better, but it's weird because against a lot of other guys, he didn't look that good of a wrestler. And we kind of felt that Luque had faced some wrestlers. Like he faced Tyron Woodley, but I know Woodley was way past his prime. But I mean, in a fight like that, is it possible that there was some sort of really bad leg injury on Luque or something? Like all of a sudden, maybe where like he couldn't even sprawl. I mean, because of an injury, or do you think in a fight that big, if he had some kind of injury where he wasn't even going to be able to fight like normal, he would have pulled out?
Man, I'd hope that, because there's been times where I've fought injured. When I fought Perry, I had torn my pec in jiu-jitsu practice, and they wanted me to get a surgery. But sometimes, man, opportunities like that, when you have like a big opportunity ahead of you and you're willing to like train and fight through the injury, like me myself, I've been known to like work around my injuries. Like my most recent injury with Kevin Lee, it was like I had fought already 2 other times. My initial injury was during Mike Perry. So that Mike Perry camp, I had tore my ligaments in my finger, but I was able to go to like the UFC PI and get therapy on it every day. But that last fight was the one where it really like just gave out, and I had to do something about it. So maybe that is the case. Who really knows when we're in there? It could be a lot of things. It could be overtraining, it could be undertraining. It's you got to have like the right formula stepping into there. But
it's really true. And if anything is really off, it can make a really big difference. You know what I mean? Like I remember I was watching boxing when I was like 10 years old with my dad, and like there were 2 guys that were undefeated, like top 10 contenders, and one of them knocked the other one out like in the first round in boxing. And they talked to the other guy, and he's like, "Yeah, man, sorry, I just wasn't there. I didn't even show up for this fight." And I remember as a kid, I was like so confused. I was like to my dad, "How does this other guy who's won like 20 fights in a row against good contenders, all of a sudden he gets wiped out like that?" And my dad said, "Just had to be something wrong with him. Something had to be going on. I mean, or he just got caught, or you know what I mean. But if it isn't just that, just something must have been off with like you said, overtraining or an injury, and that happens, and that can make a big difference. That's why it's kind of unpredictable in betting on MMA, because you don't know, right? Something happened to your fighter, he can look like half of his normal self on one day, right? And then the next time he comes out, he looks really good.
Or he could have like a shitty weight cut or something. It's
right.
There's a lot of aspects to it.
Without a doubt.
A lot to do.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Let me ask your opinion on another welterweight fight. So that big fight a couple weeks ago, Khamzat against Gilbert Burns. We had Gilbert Burns on the show. I predicted Gilbert Burns would win that fight. Everyone was saying Khamzat was going to wipe him out. Khamzat was going to smash him. All that crap. I mean, I'm not putting down Khamzat because he's a tough guy, but I was first of all, I thought Gilbert won that fight, although it was really close. But even though he didn't get the decision, I think it shut a lot of people up that were saying Khamzat was going to make him look like an amateur. Did you agree that Burns was in that fight that whole time, or did you have doubts?
Oh no, man! I knew it was going to be a war. I didn't think it was going to be a war like that. I was thinking I was thinking it was going to be more of a little more grappling going on. But man, that was a close ass fight. It was super entertaining, and it definitely put Hamza on the map as far as that goes, and it showed a lot out of Gilbert Burns. So he got that dog in him, and that was a straight up dog fight right there.
It really was. It was a really, really good fight. And then I know on that same card, Aljamain got the decision against Peter Yan. And it's funny,
Yeah.
I picked Aljamain to win that fight. That was a close one also. I could see people angry if they felt Yan won.
Yeah.
But one of the things I said on my show, man, because I've been watching combat sports for decades, all the hate that Aljo was getting for the whole year after he took that knee. And
Yeah.
all the keyboard warriors that was saying, man, Aljo sucks, Peter Yan's going to beat him. Again, like they thought about Hamza. And I said, when shit like that goes on, when there's a weird circumstance before a rematch, the guy that the fans usually want to win the rematch does not win the rematch.
Yeah.
I've seen it in boxing too many times, right? It goes the other way. It goes exactly the opposite. And, but I'm happy about that because Aljo was really getting disrespected. And it's like, I'm not a professional fighter, but I don't criticize fighters. When you have all these keyboard warriors, people eating hamburgers and pizza, nachos, whatever, 290 pounds, never fought a day in their life, talking about Aljo sucks, he's a piece of shit, he can't fight, he's a actor, he pretended he was hurt. That pissed me off. And so I like the fact that he got the win so that all those people could kind of shut the hell up and realize that he is a very good fighter. And to disrespect a guy off of taking a knee, I mean, I think, I'm kind of happy that happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's real easy for people to say something, but let someone else get kneed in the face by a professional fucking UFC fighter, and we'll see if they're gonna want to continue to fight.
Exactly.
Or if they're gonna think they have fucking brain damage or something. People think it's easy what we do, and it's easy to say and criticize what we do, but at the end of the day, we put everything we got into this shit. So,
yep.
We just gotta do our best, to ignore that shit, because the casual fan don't really know the details of what's going on in a fight. They want to see us beat the shit out of each other. They don't see dominant positions or like just controlling a fight.
Exactly.
For my style is like not that. Mine's like action packed. So fans don't complain about my fights.
No, definitely not. And there's some good fighters out at 170, man. And we got Colby Covington, although I guess he's kind of healing up from Jorge Masvidal surprise attacking him, man. That was unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm not going to try to jump into controversy too much with that. But you got Usman there. I think eventually they have to give, and I think they are giving Leon Edwards the shot with Usman. I think that's set. Do you know if that is? I think it is, right?
I'm not 100% sure. There's definitely, there's a lot of action going on in the welterweight division right now. I think I'm excited to be coming back. I feel like at some point I'm gonna be fighting one of these names you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And I'm still young, early in my UFC career. I feel like
yes,
I have so much more to show and so much more to grow. And I was watching my fights yesterday, and I could just see the progression per fight in such little time. And I think this time I've been off was kind of like something my body really needed, because in those 18 months that I was in the UFC, I had fought 7 times, and I feel like I gave myself some time to like fully rest and recover, and I'm back now, and I feel great.
Without a doubt, absolutely, man. You've been so impressive in your short time in the UFC, man. I was just looking at your record here on the screen. My producer threw it up there, and it looks like you had a few fight over at Combates. Let me ask you, and I'm sure you can be honest on this. I mean, all respect to Combates, but I don't know a lot of people that have a lot of time that watch that organization. Are there really a lot of guys that can be as good as you in there, or is it kind of really hit and miss? Some guys in Combates can fight and some can't.
There was definitely a lot of talent in Combate Americas when I was there. I was their biggest signed fighter at the time, so a lot of like there was my decision to leave was and not re-sign with them was because I was the only signed 170 pound fighter, and I had did a couple fights at 65, and I wanted to. There was no division in order for me to be a champion or anything like that, but mainly their focus was the smaller fighters, the 35ers, 45ers, and mainly like Latino fighters, which a lot of those guys are small. There's not like a lot of big dudes, but there was definitely a ton of talent in there when I was there, but it's just that their focus is more on the smaller dudes.
Absolutely, makes sense. Remind us where you train and who some of your training partners are. Like if there's anyone that's in the UFC or Bellator or One or anything like that.
Well, yeah, as of lately, I've been training a lot with Cowboy Cerrone, helping him with his upcoming May 7th fight versus Joe Lozon. Mm-hmm. And in that time, I just hanging out with the BMF dudes. Yair Rodriguez, spending a lot of time with him working. Pato Martinez. He's an up and coming fighter. Like been around for a long time. Dudes at Syndicate. My main training partner right now. He was just released from the UFC, Sasha Palatnikov, but great dude. He's gonna be coming back, and there's just a ton of names at Syndicate. It's like everybody knows that Las Vegas is like a revolving door for fighters, so I'm always getting different looks. There's always fighters coming in town, and I'm always getting these opportunities to train and spar and just work with different people. I've worked with all kinds of different dudes since being in Vegas.
Very cool. And one question that I had, I've been to the UFC PI a couple times, and I know it's available to you UFC fighters. Can you just go down to the UFC PI one day, see a few guys hanging out, and actually go to a guy and say, "Hey man, can we jump in and do a little bit of training?" Does it work that way? Can you train with some guys that like you not even any part of any gym, but just happen to be at the PI if you're there?
Not necessarily. I don't really like to train with too many other fighters. I like to stick to who I train with at Syndicate or whatever fighters I work with. But when I go back to Los Angeles, which is my team over at like 10th Planet in the Yard, and I don't really like to mix it up. Otherwise, I would have been going to Extreme Couture. But there's too many competition, and I don't really want to make any friends other than what I have going on right now in my division. I just want to keep my style and my circle tight. So I don't really mix it up with too many other fighters.
That makes sense. And you know what I'm wondering? I'm wondering if anyone does that, because I guess if someone saw another fighter at the PI and says you want to jump into the cage, they don't know, are they challenging them, what their intentions are? So I would imagine, right, that might not happen a lot, but do you think it happens at all? I mean, is it possible? I mean,
I'm sure, like dudes, like if let's say Sean Strickland, perfect example of sees a group of dudes, probably his size or a good group of dudes. I mean, he's gonna go up in there and be like, "Hey, can I get some rounds with you guys?" It's possible. It's possible. Like Strickland would definitely do some shit like that.
That makes sense. He's a unique dude, man. Are you kind of an acquaintance of his, or just you hear and see the stuff?
Yeah. He was a training partner of mine when he was coming down to Syndicate. He don't go there anymore, but me and him had some really good sparring rounds. Definitely he's a tough motherfucker. Definitely have his respect, and I'm sure he has mine.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a tough dude, man. So he's up there at middleweight, or is it light heavy now? It's
he's a middleweight.
That's right. So that's got
he's been killing it. He's got a great matchup coming up versus Alex Pereira. I'm a fan of both of these guys, so I'm excited for that matchup. It's gonna be amazing.
That definitely should be amazing, man. Can't wait to see that fight.
That's going to be a war, dude.
Yeah, without a doubt. What do you think really quick, and then I won't keep you more than maybe 5 more minutes, but what do you think really quick of the fights coming up this Saturday, man? We got the big one, Alex Oliveira against Justin Gaethje. That's 1 weight division lower. Ooh. Yeah, that's great.
Man, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be a crazy-ass fight.
Yeah.
Both of those guys could take some punishment, and both of those guys dish out a lot of punishment, so it's definitely gonna. I don't see that fight going the distance at all. I could see it ending somewhere in the 3rd, 4th round, where someone is just like had enough of just,
Yeah, because it's going to be a lot of punishment. What insight can you give me on that fight that maybe like not all the fans necessarily might know about? Because there's a lot of educated fans. The uneducated fans, I'm not even referring to them. But as a fighter at that high level like these guys, and you're only 1 weight division away from them, what should we be looking for that might be something that the average educated fan isn't thinking about in that matchup that might give us an idea that it's going to go one way or the other once the bell rings?
Yeah, man, I think the fans are expecting a war. I think what they should be trying to look for is who's the smarter fighter in that, when it comes down, because, everybody knows Gaethje Styles, like, takes a lot of damage and gives a lot back, I'd be paying attention to who has the better defense and, is going to take the least damage, but we're all expecting a fucking war,
Without a doubt. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, that was all I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, because, here's what I think some people think. Some people think that Gaethje was the D1 wrestler, so Oliveira has no business taking him down. And then, right, the same people will say, so if that's the case, then the heavier hitter is Gaethje. So people like on that thought can say, well, this is a slam dunk win for Gaethje. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think Oliveira's jiu-jitsu is it's next level, man.
Yeah.
He's got amazing jiu-jitsu. So, if it gets to the ground, I think Gaethje is like, in trouble at all times.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think because of that can kind of be in Gaethje's head. Like, one thing I learned from jiu-jitsu is that the better guy that you're going against, the more stressful it is, right? If you got, you know what I mean? And like, I'm a purple belt, but if you all of a sudden are in there with an experienced brown belt or a black belt, like immediately you have that extra stress because you're like, this guy's just better than me. If I make one mistake, and even if you try not to have that, he's going to be more relaxed, right? And sometimes I think because Oliveira has such a good jiu-jitsu game and some good hands that it's like he's putting that stress on his opponent most of the time because they don't want to be on their back. They don't want to lose their footing. They don't want to give him a chance to backpack them or anything, right? And I think that helps him out, right?
I wouldn't want to. I'd be circling around that dude the whole time. I ain't trying to get even. I'm trying to have him get a grab a hold of me at no point in the fight, So yeah, that definitely adds stress to training. It would definitely like have me training jiu-jitsu way more, just working on trying not to get taken down or submitted.
Yeah, because I think Gaethje in that fight against Khabib, and Khabib is amazing as everyone knows, but as soon as he was down, it wasn't that hard for Khabib to submit him. So a lot of people are probably feeling that, even though Oliveira doesn't have the same wrestling as Khabib, if Oliveira's on top, Gaethje could be in trouble, and you never know. I mean, it's like, it'd be great if Gaethje could get his jiu-jitsu off of his back to be like, 100% on point. But if you take a wrestler whose top game is pretty much their game and expect they're all of a sudden going to get to be like a black belt with their technique and jiu-jitsu off their back, probably not going to happen, right?
Nah. I don't think so, man. What other matchups we got up there? Oh, Cowboys fighting Joe Lozon.
Yup, your buddy Cowboy.
I'm excited for that.
That should be exciting, man.
My boy Cowboy.
You know, two legends right there. I think Lozon would love to be on top of Cowboy. Cowboy's a black belt also, so I know he could hold his own there. And then an interesting one is Michael Chandler against Tony Ferguson. I mean,
yeah,
that should be interesting. But then the question is, like, Tony's been beaten up. I mean, he got beaten so badly in that Gaethje fight. And then
I wouldn't want to see him take no damage like he did in that Gaethje fight. You know, he's been having a tough couple fights, and you know, I'm a big Tony Ferguson fan. You know, also 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu guy. Of
course. Yeah.
And you know, I just want to. Chandler's a fucking animal. He's like a little pit bull fucking guy, dog. Oh man, it's gonna be a crazy fight. You know,
absolutely.
It's a tough matchup for Ferguson for sure.
Yeah, it is. And then, Doctor, can you go up so I can see those higher matchups a little bit? So then, let me see. We got Chandler Ferguson. Basically, Rose Namajunas, Carla Esparza. If you remember going back, right, 5 years ago, when they had the Ultimate Fighter for the women's strawweights, and it was the first time strawweights had come to the UFC. The winners of the Ultimate Fighter, the first and second, fought each other, and it was Rose Namajunas and Carla Esparza. And Carla's wrestling was just way too much for like a 22-year-old Rose Namajunas. Now you fast forward what's like 5-6 years ago. How do you feel that fight plays out?
Man, I definitely think Rose Namajunas has grown so much more since that fight. You know, I remember watching that season of The Ultimate Fighter, and you know, I was a fan of Rose. You know, actually a bunch of those girls. It's good to see that they're still in there doing successful. But I definitely think Rose has had much more success, you know, and with that comes better training and you know, just everything's better when you're winning, you know, and you're the champion. So I definitely think that you know, I could see Rose winning that fight. And I think it's I don't think Carla Esparza's like gonna have very much success like with the takedowns and you know, I'm interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because Rose is tough, and Carla is not the last woman that beat her because she did lose to Jessica Andrade with that slam. But I think Carla is like the first woman in the UFC to beat her, I think, and definitely beat her for that significant title. So it's going to be exciting to see. Carla's tough. Carla's actually been on an amazing streak. I think she only got pieced up by Tatiana Suarez, and now Suarez is going up to flyweight once she can get over the injury. Man, Tatiana Suarez has been injured for like 3.5 years. You know, that's gotta suck. Did you ever have a period of like that where you just kept not healing up year after year after year?
Nah, man. This last surgery is the longest layoff I've ever had. It's been a difficult process because it's my hand, you know. I got to use it for everything, and unfortunately, I had some setbacks. I'm healing up from my third and last surgery. You know, it's just me being anxious to get back to work, man, and just getting back to work too fast, and then just re-injuring it. You know, I think this time around I've been a little more patient and just, you know, because this is it, man. I'm like, I can't take any more time off. Super anxious to get back in there, but at the same time, like, I'm so close, and I'm so excited, and I'm being really patient and not doing something stupid, you know.
Absolutely, that's the key. Hey, let me ask you one last fight really quick, then we'll let you go. This Saturday, Chaos Williams, Kalen, the man they call Chaos, the Ox fighter, Williams, going up against Randy Brown, your division.
Yeah. Shit, man. I'm excited to see who wins that. You know. I'm definitely gonna be watching. I'm gonna be there. You know. So shit, maybe I can fight one of these dudes coming back. You never know.
That's what I was thinking, right? Because they may be ranked slightly above you, or you know, right around where you are. and that would be exciting, man, because Chaos always brings that power, and then Randy Brown is like 6'4" or something for a welterweight, so he's got that ranginess for 6'3". But yeah, man, you're going to be in it, and I know you'll fight anytime. Love to see them give you a full camp because you kill it even on short notice. But it would be nice if they gave you the respect of.
So I'm already getting ready, man. You know, camp already started. I don't even have an opponent, but
right.
I'm just so hungry to get back in there, man. I'm about to go fucking run up this hike with my dog. You know, he's been patient.
Yep. I was going to say, man, we got to thank your dog, Dodger, man, for just chilling out like that for us. Tell us the best place people can support you on social media.
Yeah, man, you can hit me up on Instagram at DRodUFC. Same on Twitter. I think I'm still on Facebook. I don't know.
I hear you.
But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm still on Facebook. But my main yeah, that's it, man. Just Twitter, Instagram,
awesome.
DRodUFC. Hit me up.
Awesome, definitely. D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, really appreciate you, man. Can't wait to see you back in action. Glad you're healing up, man. Keep doing what you do. Thanks so much for joining us here in the MMA Power Hour.
Thank you, bro.
Take care, bro. Have a good night.
Cool.
Yep. And that was D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. Really cool dude. Really glad he made it happen. You know, when we advertise a fighter and once in a blue moon they don't show up, and you know, and sometimes they just don't.
No, I'm glad he figured it out.
Yeah, he did.
It can be a pain in the butt sometimes when you forget passwords, stuff like that. But
it can.
I'm glad he made it in.
Yep, we really appreciate it.
Fans or viewers and listeners are dropping some comments here.
What are we hearing?
B-Boy said, "Oh snap, Daniel Rodriguez, brother." Paid programming. Did you guys see the rumor about Jones and Stipe being targeted for a huge summer show?
Yep, I did see that rumor. Yep.
And what do you think the likelihood of that actually happening is?
You know, that's one of the fights they've been talking about. At first, they were talking Francis and John Jones, and now it looks like Francis is just about ready to leave the UFC, so that they're not talking about it anymore. And so then I think it's, other than that, it's always been Stipe against John Jones. I think it's pretty likely. Stipe, I think, doesn't want to wait too much more to jump back into it. And Jones, I think, has been training now for 2 years, hasn't fought for over 2 years, and is ready to fight. So I do think that will happen. And they're both going to need to be paid, and I think they will be. That will be a very good fight because John is younger, although John is like 34 now, right. I think. But Stipe is like 39 now. And, you know, it's an interesting fight because Stipe is past his prime, but he's still a really tough guy. And John, this will be his first fight at heavyweight. Although John's walked around and trained a lot as a heavyweight, he's grappled as a heavyweight. And but still, the first UFC fight against a true heavyweight. And Stipe, a heavyweight legend, former champion, that's a big ask. But he very well could be up for it. So I think there is legitimacy that we'll see that before this year is over. I think John just announced that Stipe said he can't be ready until September at soonest. So I think we're not going to see that this
I don't think we'll see it this summer.
Early fall.
Jumping around with people that we're talking about. What about the rumors of Fury and Ngannou?
Yeah, that's, you know, that actually is very legit as well. I just hope they don't have Fury and Ngannou in boxing on the same night that they have Jones and Stipe. I'm sure promoters will work out not to have that happen.
I 100% guarantee it will not happen that way because with Ngannou in contract with UFC and Dana's going to make sure that he's part of this fight.
Perhaps. I mean, you know.
I mean, it's a UFC will take way too much of that money, and you'd rather collaborate than compete in a situation like that.
You mean as far as like not the other fight, but as far as like, see, I don't know.
When you breach contracts, you're pretty much SOL. You're
correct,
giving up part of your purse.
But I don't know it's a breach. See here, follow me on this. I know up until several years ago, and this still may be the case, but I've heard it's changed since then. Up until several years ago, as long as you kept winning in the UFC, your contract would be automatically renewed whether you like it or not. If that's the case, then you're right. He would still be under contract. However, I do believe it's possible that that clause has been modified, and or when you've fought your last fight, even if it's a win, that you may be able to be out of your contract. So my understanding was
everything that I've heard and inside information is
that he's
still contracted with them.
Okay.
And that's where some of the discussions are
Gotcha.
really heading is
right.
actual involvement, and Dana even he's talked on it a little bit, saying that he wouldn't mind seeing it. So
yeah, so then and then Dana,
I have a feeling that
Group.
he's actually in on it, and
right. And it wouldn't be so much him as it would be the Endeavor Group, you know, the new owners of the UFC, with him having a percentage, you know, being the president of the UFC and whatever they agree on. Yeah, so I think it's very possible. Yeah, I think it's very possible. It would be fun. They have a respect for each other, both huge men. I forget which fighter we were talking to, but we talked to a fighter, and I asked him how heavy you think Francis would come in at, because boxing, there is no weight limit in the heavyweight division, and I was thinking he was going to say like 270, 275 maybe, you know, and he said 285, maybe 290, 295. You know, and I'm like, wow. But he said, yeah, Francis is a really big guy.
That was just last week. That was
was it?
Our main man that we tried to get a hold of the week before.
Oh, Rashad Evans.
Yes, there we go.
Yes. So, and that'll be great, because what do you call him? Big man, the Gypsy Fury usually does come in close to 280. You know, so, and Fury is going to be the taller man, almost 6'9", 6'8" and change, and Francis is close to 6'5", so there's about a 3-inch height difference, apparently, it looks like. Although when they stood next to each other, it looked like it might. But you know what? When they stood next to each other, you know what? No, I was going to say barefoot, but the boxers don't have to fight barefoot. But when they stood next to each other, it looked like it was only like a couple inch height difference. But I think it's about 3 inch. It would be amazing, though, because
it'd be interesting, and there's no way it's going to happen on the same night as this.
No, for sure not. Years ago, once in a while that would happen, but now it seems like the promoters talk to each other to avoid having that.
No, mega fights, you just don't compete. I mean, people.
Right.
I mean, man, I was involved with a mega fight weekend, and it was last what month was that, Colin? Do you remember?
During the summer. I think it was last year during the summer.
July.
Yeah.
There we go. And there was like 4 fights that were technically mega fights.
Yep.
And it was just insane. None of them had good numbers. None of them. Not one of them.
Yeah, very true. The weird thing that I'm hearing, though, is that it's going to be a modified rules boxing match, but the only modification is that it's going to be boxing with the 4-ounce MMA gloves instead of 10-ounce boxing gloves. And that really does give not an advantage overall, so that you say he should be the betting favorite, because that's not true. But that does give Francis a little bit of a leg up, because he's used to punching with those small gloves. And but you know, it's still, though, in a boxing match. But you know, I've been watching boxing for decades, since I was a little kid. I'll even go so far as to saying that I've watched boxing for like 4 decades. Tyson Fury is a guy that his punching technique is really not bad. You can't say it's not good, but it's not great. He doesn't throw the cleanest, straightest punches, and he doesn't throw like these amazing Mike Tyson hooks. His punching technique is good, but not great when compared to a lot of the great champions over the years. He's very strong, though. His defense is really good. He's really tall, and he's really heavy. And so those things have been kind of too much for everyone that he's fought, although he's had a couple of really good fights there with Deontay Wilder, where Wilder did get... He's actually had 3 fights, and one of them wasn't that competitive, but the other 2 were very competitive, because Wilder is a very crisp puncher with great technique. So Francis Ngannou, probably being that he's not a pro boxer, would even maybe have less good technique and certainly less good movement boxing wise than Fury, but he is pretty good with his powerful punches that are really accurate. And you know what I mean? And so, I kind of feel like there would be a chance there. And
I think there absolutely would be a chance for Ngannou, even with straight rules. I think
especially with the MMA gloves. What do you think the odds are? What I'm picturing is Fury like minus 500 and Ngannou plus 350 or something. Can you see that?
No.
You think it's too high or too low compared to what it'll be?
Compared to what it will be, I think it's.
If you click at the top it might show. If you click at the very top, switch it to boxing.
I'm going to.
Yeah,
I'm going to. Give me a second.
And
see if they have it.
Yeah, they may even have.
It'll be way down at the
bottom.
Yeah,
it will, like future fights or
It doesn't show dates.
Right.
Nope, nothing listed.
Nothing. So okay, so then what if not minus 500 and plus 350, and those numbers might not even totally equate.
Yeah, it's not a big enough spread.
So you think Fury would be more like minus 700, minus 800? Yeah. But I tell you what though, I think that it may open that way, but there will be some action coming in on Ngannou, especially because I think some people realize that maybe some of the smart money may come in.
I mean, I'm going to be one of the people to make go that direction.
Because there's value, because there's 100%. Definitely value,
that'll be a fun one to watch if it happens, when it happens, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, without a doubt, it really would. Because I'll tell you what, if Ngannou wins, man, that would be something. Because if Ngannou wins, I don't know that. I mean, because if he wins and then Endeavor Group and Dana try to say, great, well, we're essentially your managers here for the rest of your boxing life. I don't think that should be the case, and I don't think it will be the case. I think somehow.
No, but for that one fight, definitely. There's always buyout options. But, Colin, I mean, listen, here's the deal. At the end of the day, if Ngannou wins, the whole world is going to be on fire in the same way. When Silva beat Chavez Jr., it was kind of like, I mean, we all knew it.
Right.
But
surprise.
I mean, Silva can box.
Yeah, he can.
Those of us who are Silva fans, we know that, right?
Without a doubt.
But Ngannou, we all know that too. And it's a situation where I think he really stands a chance. It won't surprise MMA fans. Hardcore boxing fans will be, I don't know, they'll be crying for weeks.
Oh, but yeah. You know what I think?
It'll be really interesting if that really does happen.
It will be. You know what I think would be really interesting is Ngannou, when he hits any MMA fighter, for the most part, they tend to go out. Tyson Fury, as a 280-pound professional boxer with a great chin, he's going to be one of the guys that it's very possible that Ngannou could hit him with a big uppercut, and he might just grit his teeth and go, nah, that's not going to do it.
Right.
And that would be interesting, because what is Francis going to do if he's just cracking someone and they're like, no, sorry, big man. He might go, oh, shit, what the hell did I get into? You know what I mean?
That would be real interesting.
It would be.
Hey, man, I'm sitting here looking at this weekend's card for 274, and I'm just thinking, all right, we had on D-Rod, and going through the welterweight fights, just looking at it, it's like, oh shit, they might be actually prepping for a fight against him. Especially, I would love to see this one, Andre Fialho.
Yes, click on Fialho. I think he fought literally a week and a half ago. Look at the date of his last fight.
Yeah, he fought the 16th, and it was
literally 2 weeks and 2 days ago.
Yeah,
he's a tough guy. I picked him to win that fight. He's from Portugal, and he is a tough dude. DC Daniel Cormier was mentioning that he spent some time over at AKA, and that Cormier was really impressed with him. I think his son, Cormier's son, one of his little sons, said that Fialho was like his favorite guy to watch in the gym. Yeah. But I don't know who Van Camp is.
He's a newbie. He's gonna lose. No doubt in my mind, he's gonna lose.
The Invader, right? And
they're trying to move him up in the ranks a little bit.
Yeah, coming out of B2 fighting. I don't even know where. Out of Montana. Well, he's got nice tattoos, that we can say, but he's about to get tattooed with the guy from Portugal's fist, I think.
I don't think he stands a chance after that win against Beza.
He looked just dominant. He is a killer, man. I like.
I would love to see him against D-Rod, and I was kind of hoping you would ask about it, but there's some I was reading earlier today, actually. I think it was Bleacher Report.
All right.
They were talking about this being one of the fights that they really want to see too, is Fialio against D-Rod.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Agree with that.
I will tell you this though. I'll tell you this. Fighters.
What are you doing, yawning?
Sorry about that. Exactly. I'm yawning on MMA Power Hour. I'm not bored. I promise. Fighters don't always know every single other fighter, especially those that are not in the top 20. And Fialio may not even be in the top 30, although if he's not, he should be really close. But yeah, if I would have thought about it, I would have asked. But it's also possible that D-Rod may have said, "Who's that? I don't know who that is."
Well, all right. Well, let's go real quick into the four. Pretty much the four top fights here this weekend.
Let's see what our thoughts are.
We've got Ovens.
Actually, how about five? The five are good.
Yeah, well, Donald Cerrone. Man, I want to see him win, but I also don't want to see him fight anymore.
Yeah,
I think he's taking too much of a
I agree. You know what? Actually, the Ovens St. Pro. Let's quickly do 6 because Randy Brown and Chaos Williams is a big fight, and they're both so good. Chaos is Colin fighter. Colin is known as Chaos the Ox fighter, and he is a killer. 13-2. He's on a 2-fight win streak, and he's won 6 out of 7, I think. And the one that he lost was really close. So yeah, look at that. He's 2-fight win streak, but he's won 7 out of 8, and he is a beast with a lot of power. And he's like what, 6 feet tall? Is he about 6 feet? He's six foot tall, 28 years old. Click over to Randy Brown. Randy Brown, I think, is like 6'3", and he's 31. He's got a good record, 14-4. He's on a good streak, two-fight win streak. He lost to Vicente Luque, getting caught really quick before that, but then he had 2 more wins before that. This is a really good fight. Both young fighters, especially Chaos. And I don't know who wins that fight, man.
I'm going with Chaos on this
I think I think I'll go with Chaos, but I got to look more into it because Randy is so unorthodox. He's tall, and a lot of these taller guys have been killing it, like Kevin Holland in this division and Jalen Turner.
I'm going with the odds makers on this. They have a
Chaos is a slight favorite, do they?
A slight, barely.
Yeah. Okay, next up, really quick, and we can go through this quick so we can get done. So the one right above that is going to be Cerrone. So Cerrone and Lozon is really probably a loser rides off into the sunset, if not both men ride off into the sunset. In all honesty, if you look at both of them, they both have lost 80% of their last 10 fights, I think.
Right. Well, and I mean, here's the deal with both of them. I think this really is just teed up for both of them to step in there, no matter who wins.
Get a payday,
to
make
sit
the people
there
happy
on the mic and both say, "Hey, you know what? This was our last fight. We just wanted to give you guys a show."
And I have
a feeling that's what we're gonna
do. Because I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've never seen 2 fighters on a main card in the UFC both retire, the winner and the loser, afterward.
Dana's alluded to it with both of them actually saying, you know what?
Wow.
I don't necessarily want to see these, not this specific situation I just threw out, but just the fact that, you know, he doesn't necessarily want to see them fighting anymore.
No, exactly.
Beat up like this.
When I was in Boston 3.5 years ago, about 3.5 years ago, or 3 years ago, Lozon got a win, and I actually asked Dana, because this was Lozon hadn't fought in 2 years, and I actually asked Dana, if he had more thoughts about Lozon continuing, because Joe kind of mentioned he was open to it, and Dana thought for a second and said, no, there's no more fights for Joe Lozon. And so
he said the same thing about
Cerrone, right?
Cerrone when we were in Vegas.
Yeah, and because in all honesty, both of these guys are close to 40. And if they're not, if one is probably closer to the other, but they both had a ton of fights, they both taken a ton of punishment. They're both absolute warriors, and I'd love to see a close fight. I'd love to see them both. Because imagine if they both. I'm
not going to call that one. I'm just going to sit here and throw it this way. I don't want to see either one of them fight, but I want to see them both go off into right off into the sunset.
The sunset, exactly.
Definitely with smiles on their faces.
Yes.
That's what I would like to see.
And if they both retired together, they'd probably be tied together for many years to come, and that's not a bad thing. They're both absolute warriors.
Absolute warriors.
Yeah, if the fight stays on the feet, Cerrone probably picks them apart. If it goes on the ground, you got 2 good black belts. Lozon is probably a slightly better black belt, but it's so hard to say. But anyway, I can't pick on that one. I hope they both do well. Mauricio Shogun, who here's the weird thing about this, Adam. We've already discussed the circumstances of the fight number 11 there. Fight number 12 is almost the same thing. a 40-year-old Mauricio Hua, Shogun. Look at his record. But both men have lost about 70% of their last 10 fights.
One year age gap. Yeah, you know what? That
It's
might be
the
a
same
common
thing.
theme.
Could you imagine all 4 guys retiring at the end of
Yeah,
their
that would be
fights?
insane. That would be so memorable, and maybe they're teeing it up for that.
They may be, because in reality, Shogun has been around for so many years.
Absolute legend.
I mean, OSP is not quite as big a legend. He never quite got over that hump, but he was always so close, and he was such a unique guy and a cool dude. And, but yeah, actually, both of those fights, unfortunately, even the winner of both of those fights are not really going to beat anyone other than me and Dr. Adam Roorda in a fight, which they could do easily.
Right.
But unfortunately, they're not going to. None of these, the winners of those 2 fights probably are not going to beat anyone in the top 50.
I mean, the old man fighting needs to stop. I'm just going to say that. And I don't mean any disrespect to people that are only like not even
a year or 2 older than
3 or 4 years older than me. But reality is the impact it has on the brain is just massive. And I just think
it's not really a great sport to have a senior league.
And boxing, same thing.
Yeah,
I agree. I have my. I like watching people ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Definitely, Colin, with smiles on their faces.
Yes.
But if it's going to be putting people's brains and their
Not
families,
worth it. Yeah, not worth
relationships with them in danger because of that.
Yeah, okay, exactly. I agree. Stop. Sorry to cut you off. But speaking of which, continuing this kind of weird theme, Tony Ferguson 4 years ago was considered possibly the guy that could beat Khabib.
Mm-hmm.
Their fight was scheduled 5 times and canceled 5 times, 2 of them during the pandemic. He, however, did take an absolutely vicious and brutal beating by Justin Gaethje
2 years ago.
2 years ago, absolutely brutal. The referee should have stopped that fight earlier on. He probably got 4 concussions in one night, if possible. I don't know if that is possible, but he proved that he is literally one of the greatest warriors in the world as far as being able to take a punch. Finally, the referee stopped it, but it should have been stopped much sooner. Then he did lose to Charles Oliveira, who really kind of made him look like he was a shell of him former self.
Mm-hmm.
Then he did lose to Beneil Dariush, who then made Tony also look like a shell of his former self.
Beneil made him look more like a shell. I mean, losing to Charles and the streak that he's been on is not
right. And then Beneil too. Beneil's amazing. Beneil is a great fighter,
absolutely.
and so no shame in any of those fights. But it appears now that you're putting him up against Chandler, and Chandler's fresh, and their ages are similar. Chandler's got 2 losses too. But the Gaethje was super close, whereas Gaethje beat the brakes off of Tony, and then Chandler did get caught by Oliveira, but didn't get. Here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. Chandler got caught and stopped by Oliveira, whereas Tony went the distance with Oliveira. But I think more significant is the fact that Gaethje was barely able to skate by with a win against Chandler, whereas he beat the brakes off of Ferguson. What are the odds? Chandler should be minus 400 in this fight, maybe even minus 500. Can you take a quick look?
I'm looking right now.
But just like D-Rod said, even because D-Rod is a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu guy.
Chandler's a 400 favorite.
Yeah, so even D-Rod said he doesn't want to see a 10th Planet guy who is Tony Ferguson really beaten up and hurt in this fight. Nobody does. And Chandler has just got absolute, wrecking power in his fists. Ferguson's going to have the amazing wrestling skills to take down Michael Chandler and put him on his back. And if he does, is it possible for him to catch a submission? Maybe. But this just seems like a fight that maybe someone who doesn't like Tony Ferguson
on that one.
Yeah, it just, you almost feel that Dana may have asked Tony if he would wrap it up, and when Tony said no, then Dana or McMahon or Sean Selby said let's put him in with someone who will force him to wrap it up. Because that's what it looks like. But could we be wrong? Maybe. And then there's 2 left, right?
Yep.
Which are Rose Namajunas and Carla. So let's look at Carla real quick. Carla, other than losing to Tatiana Suarez, who everyone loses to, wow, she's on a 5-fight win streak since losing to Tatiana. A 5-fight win streak beating Virna Jandiroba, who's very tough. Alexa Grasso, who is a killer. Michelle Watterson, who is very tough. Marina Rodriguez, who is a killer. And Xiaonan Yan. That is a really good streak. How old's Carla now? 33, 34?
34.
Right. She is very tough. She's engaged. She's just going to be getting married. And she is a great fighter. And really, she beat Rose about 5 years ago. Was it 5 years ago or 6 years ago? Can you check?
Yeah, that was
5.5 years ago.
No, 7.
By a rear naked choke.
7.
7, that's right, 2014.
7.5.
7.5 years ago. Wow. And Rose was 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And Carla was 27. So Carla was a much more mature fighter. She was a more experienced fighter, and she looked it in that fight. Since then, like D-Rod said, Rose Namajunas has become worlds better. When Carla beat Rose, she was kind of a skinny, cute, kind of nervous-looking girl with long, flowing hair. Now she's the short, buzz-cut, absolute calm, focused killer that is Rose Namajunas.
Mm-hmm.
So they're completely different animals. But Carla is tough. She's going to want to go in there. She's going to want to keep getting the takedowns and see if she can do her thing. The odds have to be what? Minus 400, Rose? Minus 300? Can you check?
No, minus 200.
Minus 200?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Because, yeah, Carla's been on a killing streak.
I was just going to say, I'm actually going to put 20 on Carla here. And I think she is going to take it. I think
it's possible.
It's real tough to really call that, being that Rose has had two wins over Wei Li in a row.
Rose is a two-time champion. And Carla was that one-time champion. You know, I mean, it's so hard to say. It would be so sweet if Carla could win this fight. And then if she won, wouldn't it be amazing if she won and then got married and then rode off into the sunset?
Mm-hmm.
You know, although she probably wouldn't. She'd probably want to do at least 1 or 2 defenses. But it's going to be a big ask because the better jiu-jitsu player is Rose, although Carla's, I think, a brown belt, if not a black belt. Carla's wrestling is better, but Rose's striking is better, both kicks and punches. Rose is taller and longer. Rose is 5 years younger. It's a big ask for Carla, but it's possible, and she's going to go hard, that's for sure. And then main event of the evening, man, oh man, Dr. Adam Roorda. Let me give a nutshell description for people that don't know. In Justin Gaethje, you have, I think, a 31-year-old fighter. I think he's 31 or 32. If you want to go back to if you were looking for something, I don't know. So let's go to Gaethje. Gaethje has a record of 23-3, 33 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go back to Gaethje. I want to kind of do a little breakdown. So 33 years old, 23-3. Only been in the UFC for about 4 years, I think. But let's take a look at those fights. Since he had been the World Series of Fighting champion, jumped into the UFC. And there we go. In 2017, 5 years, almost 5 years. Beat Michael Johnson. Lost to Eddie Alvarez against Dustin Poirier. After he lost those fights, he became Justin Gaethje 2.0. Smashed James Vick. Smashed Edson Barbosa. Smashed Donald Smash, yeah, like they would say, like the Eastern Bloc guys would say, like Hamzat. And smashed Tony Ferguson. Habib did submit him, and then he just came back about 7 months ago, and beat Michael Chandler.
Beat the brakes off of him.
Well, it was close. No,
I thought he did.
Well, it was a good fight, really good fight. Now, Du Bronx, Charles Oliveira, he's the same age, I think, 32, slightly younger, about the same height, 32-8. Charles Oliveira became Charles Oliveira 2.0 about 4 or 5 years ago as well. Wow, that's like a 10-fight win streak, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
9 or 10-fight win streak for Charlie Olives. Du Bronx, Charles Oliveira.
Yep, 10-fight win streak.
Wow.
Although, in all fairness, I'm going to sit here and throw this out. He had about half of those were not super impressive.
Not the highest
fighters,
level of guys. Okay. But then the last several were.
Absolutely.
Were. Yeah, and you know,
Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler,
yeah, Dustin Poirier. Yeah. You know, this is what I'm going to describe this as, and then I want your opinion on this, Dr. Adam Roorda. The D1 wrestler is Justin Gaethje. The other man wasn't D2 or D3. The other man grew up in Brazil, not in the American wrestling system. He's learned it a bit, but mostly has used his wrestling, which he did obtain or attain just for defensive purposes, although he's known to sometimes take people down because he's really quick and a good athlete. High level black belt, though, he can submit you from anywhere. He's really good. He uses his long frame and his long legs to be able to do that, and people are very afraid of that. He's got good hands. He's very accurate, and he throws very straight punches. They don't have the exact same power as Gaethje, but they may be a bit more accurate. But wrestling by far to Gaethje, jiu-jitsu by far to Oliveira. Oliveira is a champ. Well, I imagine this should be minus 200 Oliveira.
I was actually, that's what I was looking for. It's not anywhere.
Far left. Oh, it should be. If you go to the far left tab.
No, it's not there. That's what I'm telling you.
They don't have it posted?
No, they don't have the odds posted there.
That's bizarre. The top, it's not there. No, it isn't.
No.
Wowie. Hopefully that fight's not pulled. It can't be.
That's what I was looking for, just in case. No, it's
yeah. They just don't have it.
They just don't have it posted.
Yeah. So I would imagine it's probably going to be maybe minus 200 or even minus 180 Oliveira. What do you think, Adam, from your wrestling background and your knowledge of MMA? Well, like I was talking to D-Rod about, even though Gaethje is the better wrestler, he's got that stress in his head about not wanting to give away any position on the feet or on the ground to the far better jiu-jitsu guy. Is that going to maybe force him to reduce his output? Is that going to maybe force him to not do what he normally does? Like, if you notice,
I mean, listen, I think that would be accurate if it wasn't a ground and pound style wrestler. It would that Gaethje is, and he's very well known for that.
But he also loves to smash it out on the feet.
He loves to smash it out on the feet, and if he takes it to the ground, it's just real quick ground and pound. Let him up if he needs to. Which
he probably won't. I think Gaethje would prefer this fight stayed on the feet the whole time. I think
100%. But if it gets down to a takedown situation,
if he's on top,
and he knows how to control it like that, he is that level of wrestler. So that's the thing where he has the ability to pull it off here. Now,
5 rounds is a lot to ask, though. But it's Gaethje though too. Yeah, we've seen it before. And here's the thing with Gaethje: the odds that I found the odds actually on a bunch of other websites, but not the one that is the most reliable. Oddly Funny enough, it happens.
It's about 1.5 to 1 for.
That's what I thought. Yep,
Oliveira.
That's what I was thinking.
Listen, I think Gaethje's going to take this one. I'm actually going to parlay Carla and Gaethje, and
wow, get a good payout there.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and
you do know they both could be subbed, but maybe not.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then I'm also going to go for Macy Chiasson because she's going against Norma Dumont. That's going to be a tough one.
Yikes! I think,
yeah,
she's a dog on that one, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. I mean, Macy's kind of been SOL with
and I think this is at 145, even though her frame, and I mean that, you know what, Macy could end up being better at 45.
I think she is going to be.
But then didn't she lose her first fight at 45? Just the last fight?
No, I'm almost 100% sure that she did.
Who was it against?
You know, you've got to acclimate a little bit.
Yeah, it's true. It takes a second. Here. She still is relatively young. But because Dumont looked really good, but it was against a short notice Aspen Ladd who was fighting out of her weight class. Okay, so that Pennington fight, no, that wasn't at 45.
No,
but,
it wasn't.
But Pennington is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But and Dumont hasn't fought anyone that good. She fought Aspen Ladd short notice in a weight class up, and she looked great there. But that doesn't show a lot. Before that, she did beat Felicia. She barely got by Felicia Spencer, though, and Felicia is very tough.
Yeah,
it's, you know what, you're right. You're right, because you know what, she lost to another tall girl. She got caught quickly by Megan Anderson, although Megan is even like an inch or two taller than Macy, and Megan is known for having some snap on her punches. But it's possible. How old are they both? About the same age?
Let's see. So we've got Macy at 30,
right,
and Norma, she's got to be 31. Yeah.
And how old is Norma? 5. Wow. So Norma's given away 3 to 4 inches in height.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's possible, man. I mean, in all honesty, we chatted with Macy back in the day when she wanted to you know, talk to media and was always a sweetheart. I have nothing against Macy. She just doesn't really want to do media nowadays, and that's okay. I just think the way Norma Dumont has looked and Macy's coming off a loss.
I'm still gonna call it here. I still think it's Macy.
Could be right.
And you know what? I'm gonna throw in for my pick. I might as well throw a fourth one because those are all dogs.
A 4-leg parlay of dogs.
Well, not all dogs for all of them. I'm actually gonna go ahead and in this also go with just to make it safe.
Chandler.
Fialio. It's
okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Fialio. Yeah, and he's minus 500 though. It's
minus 400. It's not a huge point in doing that. But
do you want to throw in Chandler instead? You get a better payoff.
Chandler, it's right about the same.
Oh, it is?
The odds are right about the same.
That's right, it is.
Yeah.
That's right. Never mind. But
I mean, if I were to go with Ferguson and go Rando on that, then yeah. But I don't think that one. I'm afraid it's just. Kukui.
Man,
it really is El Kukui.
He really is, man. If he could return to his former self, like before these 3 really hard fights, then he'd be really live in that fight. He really would, because he was a D2 wrestler, even though Chandler I think was D1. But he's a high-level black belt, and he has some pretty good striking, and he's really confident. But man, it's tough. Right when you're getting older, to take a beating.
You know what? I'm gonna go wild here, and I'm gonna go ahead and I am gonna do 5 picks.
5-leg parlay. You know, we don't suggest that to anybody because the more legs in a parlay,
but I'm doing
the longer. But that's fine. Just let people know we're not saying go ahead and pin your money on 5-leg parlays. But
I'm gonna separate it down. Also, I'm gonna do a 3-leg, but that I started with.
Right.
But I am gonna do a 5-leg here, and I'm gonna go ahead and risk it on Ferguson.
Oh. Well,
yep. You're like,
well, the 10th planet.
But the more and the more I'm thinking about it, I love Chandler. I really do. His wrestling skills, but I think El Kukui is just looking for coming back with some vengeance.
It'd be amazing. Did he turn 40 yet, El Kukui? Could you look?
I'm almost positive he is 40 now, and he's 38.
38, not even 40 yet. And I'll tell you what. The guys he lost are killers.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me worry is that Chandler really did go.
Other than Beneil, who hasn't really been put to the test with Chandler, it's the same losses that Gaethje's seen.
Pretty similar. The big difference though is that Gaethje beat the brakes off of Tony. It was ugly, and Chandler went back and forth with Gaethje the whole fight. So. But I love Tony. I would love to see it do too. I think he spent some years.
Yeah, but Chandler is so. Here's something on that though, and I'm gonna bring a point up with this. So with the striking, Gaethje is very unorthodox in comparison to Chandler. Chandler is very clean and technical in comparison. True.
But arguably hits harder than Gaethje.
Yeah, he arguably hits harder. So I mean, it's either going to be a knockout or Tony's just going to be doing his
twist him around.
Yeah, he's just going to be doing his crazy roll arounds, and I don't even know what to call it. Nobody does.
He can do an Inari roll, then he can do a Granby roll,
but I mean, sometimes it's not even that. So it's supposed to be, but
just
it's
10th planet Eddie Bravo, Tony Ferguson rolls. I got you.
That's what I'm saying.
That's very well could be
a Ferguson roll.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a Ferguson roll and roll into a knee bar. And tap on Michael Chandler. It is very possible then for him to say, "I'm back, motherfuckers."
Well, that's why I'm going to go ahead and do a 3-leg and a 5-leg, 2 separate sets. I think that one would be a good one to try out if you're going for a super high risk parlay.
Yep.
Super high risk.
Yep.
But the other one I'm pretty confident in for the dogs. I feel.
Makes sense. Here's a thought that I have. Mauricio Shogun Hua and Ovid St. Preux. Can you tell me the odds on that? I feel like I feel OSP
about 2-1.
2-1.
Hua.
With Hua favored?
Or sorry, not Hua.
OSP. Okay.
Almost 2.5. Actually,
it makes sense because in all honesty, Hua's 40. OSP is what 38. Can you check? 30, I think 39 or something. It wasn't only a 1-year difference. But Hua Shogun has so much more miles on him. OSP is how old? 39? What happened his last few fights? He got the shit knocked out of him against Tanner Bozer at heavyweight, and then he did lose to Jamal Hill. Those guys at this point in their career, those guys are way better than a 40-year-old Shogun at this point. So I feel like I feel like OSP wins that fight. So I like OSP. I like Michael Chandler to win. I like Chaos Williams, although that's going to be a really good fight against Randy Brown. I might not make that an official pick. Why am I looking to the side? My neck is all jacked up. I think Rose beats Carla, although I think Carla's going to give it a hell of a fight. And then I like Gaethje a lot. I'm scared to officially make him a pick, though, against Oliveira, because Oliveira is so good. But I'll put out some more picks officially later in the week. But these are some good names. This is a pay-per-view. Everyone find somewhere to go so you don't have to pay $65 for this, and
or pay the $65 and go ahead and put in the extra hours. I'm a big fan of capitalism and how it works. But
pay for it, work hard.
Hey, man, this has been another amazing show, Colin. I want to thank you so much for that. Everybody, check out at MMA Power Hour on our social media. Give us likes, comments, shares. If you're on our social media watching this right now, head on over to the Hannibal TV on YouTube. That's our primary location. Make sure to subscribe to the Hannibal TV on YouTube. And thank you so much for another amazing episode here, Colin. Myself and our sponsors, Lith Token, want to thank you for that. You're always putting on great shows every week.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. You and Lith Token are both awesome. Love these comfortable shirts with Lith Token. And, people want to jump in and get involved in the project. Dr. Adam Roorda may be able to get you a T-shirt with that. Very comfortable and looks great. Really appreciate you, Dr. Adam Roorda, for all that you do. I want to thank our one and only guest tonight, Daniel D. Rod Rodriguez. Really appreciate you, brother. And the guest we were supposed to have for the final segment will be on next week. Those of you who turned in for Curtis Razor Blades, the number 3 ranked UFC heavyweight, who will be going up against Tom Aspinall this summer. He will be with us next week in that 3rd spot of the MMA Power Hour next week, Curtis Razor Blades. So that's about it. Be that guy, be that girl. Go out and spread the love in a positive way. It'll come back to you a million times over. Give someone a call that you haven't had a chance to talk to. Give them a kind word. A lot of people are struggling, and just to know that someone they haven't heard from in a while still has their back really could mean the world to them. Be kind, be gentle to yourself. Be extra loving to your animals. Make sure they have fresh water, good food. Your dogs are walked. Your cat has a clean litter box. Unconditional love that you get back 100 million times over is well worth it. That's about it. From me personally, a huge amount of love to all you guys. We really appreciate your support for the entire team at the MMA Power Hour. This is Colin Crandall, and for tonight, I'm tapping out.